I'm trying to work out if I can get away with looking this disgraceful / ugly on camera today. I don't care though. So there's that. It's slightly warm in London today. I don't want to have to do my makeup. Therefore, you'll just have to put up with my pink face. I know it's been a few days since Gabbie Hanna lost her shit on the internet. And I was sort of thinking, what's the point in me doing a video discussing it in any form? Because it seems to me that almost everyone outside of her own fan base, and even a few people in her own fan base, are of the opinion that she's being ridiculous. Therefore, isn't it just entirely redundant, irreverent, as Gabbie's forehead might say? Now look here, I'm in favour of bias to Rachel Oates. I mean, I know her in real life, so obviously I'm going to be biased. Right? Duh. But even if I didn't know her, I'd still be biased towards her favour because, look, people are allowed to critique your work. If you don't like it, you don't have to look. I'm sure there's been some scathing, nasty critiques of my hit, my nationwide words hit, Here's Morgan's Vegan Lover. Yeah, people... Boomers probably didn't like that. Oh well, it doesn't. I don't care. It doesn't matter. This whole topic is just insufferable, isn't it? Someone critiques your poetry. Rachel's done about like 6 to 8 videos, right? She's very in depth. I mean, if you compare, she's done about like 4 or 5, even more probably, videos regarding Shane Dawson's book, and compare that to my 2 videos because she goes really in depth. She goes line by line. And, like, she's not being mean. I can't remember what I said about Gabbie Hanna's poetry because I just don't care that much, right? I was probably meaner. Not to drag someone else into this mess, but James Marriott, his videos got more views, and he's, I think, obviously he seems like a jokey, sarcastic person, but I think his sarcasm is a lot more cutting than any of Rachel's fair critiques on how to get better at poetry. But you decided to go off against her, even though you sent your second book to her saying that you want it to be in the hands of someone who likes poetry. Even though the last poetry review she did was last year sometime. Right. Oh wait, yeah, before we go on, today's video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Internet privacy is important. I'm not going to judge you for what you want to use a VPN for, but if you use my special referral link, then you'll get 3 months free on a 12-month plan. So thanks ExpressVPN for sponsoring today's video. I've forgotten what I was just saying. Listen, I was napping earlier, so don't come at me for being as disorganised as ever. There's nothing there. I don't know why I did that. Usually for this type of video, I would go through the person's tweets to, you know, slightly make fun of them. But in this case, I can't even do that because her Twitter Gabbie Hanna's Twitter, it just makes me cringe a little bit too much, you know. It's like I can deal with a lot of cringe. It's just too much. I saw on her Twitter that she was posting pictures and saying, you know, just a friendly reminder that I could fuck both your parents. You do you, Gabbie Hanna. You do. Do you know what? I'm going to throw her the world's smallest bone here, and I'm going to say, you're allowed to have feelings about people critiquing a work that you've, you know, poured part of yourself into, even though there was quite a bit of, if I recall correctly, quite a bit of the poetry book that said she was just writing these, like, you know, the more rushed ones because she was on a deadline and had to fill up the book with filler. So I wonder how much heart and soul can really go into filler. You're allowed to not like it if someone criticises your work. What isn't such a pro-gamer move, though, is if you call all of your criticisers not intellectual enough to understand your work, because that is big Anision energy. Like, a lot of her tweets were just huge. Even the stuff about, oh, I could fuck your parents. It's like, who is writing this? Is this Onion's latest reimagining of its own character? If someone doesn't like your work, you probably shouldn't then go around saying that everyone who disagrees with you is a narcissistic abuser. Like, she took it to levels where it was quite making me laugh. Out of context, it's going to sound like I'm being a right twat here. But, you know, she was calling Rachel a narcissistic abuser for critiquing her poetry. Angelica Oles got involved, so she was being like, you're a grown woman. I'm pretty sure Angelica is like 20 and Gabbie's 30, but okay, mate, sure, okay, Gabbie. Very cool. Someone then pointed out, because Angelica has defended Gabbie before, and Gabbie has responded like in comments, being like, thanks, this is a nice thing to return to on YouTube. Someone pointed that out, and Gabbie turned around and said, yes, well, abuse victims will often try to seek the approval of their abuser, narcissistic abuser. So that was wild. And then on her Insta story, and I'm not putting any of her tweets or any of the Insta stories, you can look them up. I'm not putting them in just because I just find this so insufferable that I don't want to put my brain through it, through viewing it again. She said on her Insta story while she was driving around in her car being very erratic that some bloke liked to tweet against her, so then they messaged and he was like, oh, I'm sorry you're going through a hard time, and she was like, apologise to me publicly, la la, like, you know, demanding a bunch of stuff from him, and then he was like, lol, no, and blocked her, and she ended her little Insta story with narcissistic abuse. That's what narcissists do. Right, with all due respect, I mean, I know you do live in LA, so you probably have met narcissists before, but this isn't narcissistic abuse. Speaking from my experience of meeting quite a few narcissists in my time, narcissists will do wild things like enable your drug addictions for their own gain, to manipulate you. They won't do a well thought out literary analysis of your poetry book. I might be wrong. I might be missing the mark there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't have a doctorate in psychology. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm the one who recently learned the term narcissistic abuse and wants to inject it in every conversation possible as an easy catch-all against anyone that dares criticise me. But in my experience of knowing some proper sociopathic narcissists, they don't tend to do something as quaint as a poetry review. Do you know what's a bit bizarre? A lot of people will kind of back on Gabbie Hanna's, maybe side is too strong a term, being liberal with that word. It's like someone is liberal with the term narcissistic abuse. But I think a lot of people had much more sympathy for her once all those old clips of the Vlog Squad sort of bullying her, fat-shaming her, appearance-shaming her, that kind of stuff came back out. So it's rather telling that, I'm not saying she has to say something against David with all his millions of fans, but it's just rather telling that she decided to snap at a much smaller in comparison channel over some poetry reviews from last year. I just went on Twitter because the other day when all this was kicking off and Gabbie Hanna was trending, there were a lot of memes that I quite enjoyed. I think I saved a few of them. Just got on Twitter, she's in drama again for something. I can't keep up. I'm refusing to engage with this nonsense. That was it. The other day, she put something on her Twitter, some sort of screenshot from Demi Lovato's Instagram, where Demi Lovato was saying, you know, I'm standing up for, or no, what was it? Women who stand up for themselves in the public eye are gaslit, something like that. And Gabbie Hanna put up the screenshot being like, yes, Demi Lovato, as if they have anything in common. I just want to add on that I think she was sharing Demi's screenshot so she could have like a girl boss, feminism moment, like, yeah, against the media and the patriarchy and la la. And it's like, yeah, I don't think you can play that card when you repeatedly called Rachel and Angelica bitches, and also even called Rachel ugly, but then said, oh, but I just mean her personality is ugly, I can say that. And it's like, no, you know what you're doing when you describe a woman as ugly. Like, shut up. But really, Demi Lovato is going to be your role model during this time. Demi Lovato, who is currently losing a fight against frozen yogurt, right? So two things to take away from that. Number one, she got into a fight with frozen yogurt in the first place. And number two, she's losing against it. Baffling. Maybe that's worth a video on. I think Gabbie is now... I'm just trying to find memes and all I can see is Gabbie calling Trisha gaslighting because, hey, There's a word that's not being misused to fuck at the moment. People are really starting to mistake disagreeing with someone for gaslighting. Gaslighting, I'm not even going to explain it. I'm not going to be patronizing condescending to my own audience. You know what the term probably know what the term gaslighting means, right? Disagreeing with someone and being like, I don't agree with that. Not the same as manipulation. Gabbie Hanna, after somebody looks at her poetry in a weird way, they laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they're all the same. Yeah, same grammar, probably. Nobody. Every single Gabbie Hanna poem. Why flirt when there's life alert? Hey there, big boy. You gotta stop doing this, Edna. Oh, my bad. It's irrelevant that she has on her forehead, not irrelevant. Look, here it is. Filler. Some of these poems were written because inspiration struck. Others were written because I had a deadline and needed to fill pages. Can you guess which are which? I'm gonna say this. That's honest. She can retcon that as much as she likes, but that right there is honest. Izuyama, Hajime Izuyama, could never. If he just turned around and said, look, I was burnt out and I didn't want to write Attack on Titan anymore because it's been 11 years, I could respect that more than, no, Mikasa was the key or the... Shut up. I'm never going to get over the final chapter of Attack on Titan. There was also something else about someone passed her in Smash or Pass once, years ago, and she... Oh, it must be hard having a persecution complex 24/7. This is the dude who publicly shamed me for my physical appearance because I wasn't fuckable enough. He literally just said, pass. Like, someone can be attractive, but you don't want to fuck them. And he responded, you just weren't my type. You were a billy then and now. You proved my point. You should take a break from social media. Wow, on that bombshell, it's time to end this video, isn't it? There's always going to be someone who will critique you out there, but you just have to, like, just ignore it. Also, not all criticism is hate. Wow, nothing else really needs to be said. If you enjoyed this video, do remember to like, comment, subscribe. I make new videos whenever I feel like it. Follow me on Instagram. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!